How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video and another one in the Cube Drafting 101 series. As I said in the last one, hopefully you've watched this set for the last Cube update video. For now, what I'm going to do is every time there's a new set, I'm going to go make a video to cover what cards from that set will be good additions to be added to the Cube. So with this set, and like with many of the Unison series sets, a lot of the set was themed and most of the colours were all themed. So like with black, we got no cards added to the cube because it was heavily focused on the Xeno Shadow Dragons, and the ones that weren't were either cantrips for the meta or cards that were specifically like for black. And as we know, with the cube, black is more of a support color, and same with things like blue. That in this set, blue was heavily themed around Hirudegarn and Trunks. So we got quite a few cards in red, and some colours like blue we got barely any cards added to it. But if you do want to give it a try and you are interested in cube drafting, which hopefully if you're watching this video you are, we have a cube drafting in Dragon Ball Super card game Facebook group that the link is down below in the description box. On there I always post up my updated list, and I will be posting up there my list for this, so I'll do it as an Excel spreadsheet. So if you wanted to just have a look at it and see a cube list for mine, or even just try and collect it make it in person, it comes as a spreadsheet, so you can tick it off as you go, because that's what I've been doing when I've been building mine in person. And also I put up as a text file as well. So if you wanted to play it on Untap, so like because at the moment in the UK we can play in person now because the restrictions were all lifted, but some parts of the world are most likely, I don't know about where everybody else is in terms of their restrictions, but some people might still be restricted and not be able to play in person. So if you wanted to try and play cube drafting with your friends online, you can always do so on Untap, and the text form allows you to update it quite quickly and quite easily, so you can give it a try on there. So without further ado, we're going to go through the cards and see what good additions from this set could add to the cube. The first one we got is Son Goku Divine Presence. This is a very strong card because it helps support both the red skillless archetype, specifically in red, and also supports mono in the fact that its activate battle allows you to give you essentially a monocolor arrival. So it makes it so it can come down as a very oppressive swing, because it can get two 25k swings, or even 30k swings on the turn you play it if you choose to do so, and be defensive and give your leader a 5k boost as well if it's mono red. And unlike in the current meta, cards can be played in the cube with this actually printed cost, because it can go on quite long, and whereas in the meta, if it isn't played for cheap, it's not the greatest. But this one is nice because it adds to the Universe 7 archetype in red, also supports red skillless, and it supports also monocolor in the fact of all its skills. Then we have some skillless update cards as well. So in the cube, I've got 7 skillless cards in each color, 4 of 2 costs and 3 of the 3 costs. And what I like to do is with the skillless, have them with many traits covering different possibilities and different archetypes as possible, so there's a good variation. And at the moment in red, we have 2 Just Earthlings in Master Roshi and Yamcha, and then a Goten and Trunks one supporting Saiyan and Earthling, and also the Goten, Trunks and Gotenks engine archetype. Now, I'm adding these 2 over the 2 Earthlings, back, as with Goten and Trunks being Earthling as well, there's no need for just pure Earthlings that don't really help anything else, because those can be support the Earthling types archetype. And with Goku and Piccolo, they both support Universe 7, Goku supporting Saiyan and just Gokus in general, and Piccolo also giving more support to Namekians and God, and specifically since with the last few sets we've got some red Namekian support in the King Piccolo stuff, it adds to that to give more synergy as well. Then we have Son Goku Ole Miss, and it gives a bit more, once again, like most of the red cards, it gives support to Red Universe 7, as in this set we got quite a lot given the theme of the set, and also we did have some previous Red U7 stuff in like from Draft Box 5, like the Android 17 Negate as well, and this gives a good search to those, as well as giving more searching in red for red unisons, because all the red unisons in this cube, in my cube, are specific cost of 2, because we found out quite early that unisons with a high specified cost weren't really played, or could be too strong. Like we found out that the Sin Shenron unison was too strong because one put in combination with the Vegeta baby for very little cost. You were able to constantly every turn wipe out your opponent's board, and it's difficult to get over as well when your board's being wiped every turn. And not only that, like, it provides as a really strong searcher, it also gives a bit of support for mono red skillless. In that way, if your leader's red, and also monocolored red as well, it can gives you a bit more draw power. Then we have Android 17 Universe 7 Challenger. So this is like the red equivalent to the Great Saiyan Man from, I think, set 11, which had like barrier, blocker, revenge, and deflect. This does the same, almost the same thing. Doesn't have revenge and deflect, but it is a very strong blocker in the fact that it's a free cost, free special red 19k barrier blocker. So it's more heavily supported for mono red, and it has a very strong ulti. You don't have to worry about a second ulti. It's never going to be triggered because there's no leader that meets the requirements. But the first ulti of being once per turn when you activate this card's blocker skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 15k power for the turn. So it allows you to defend essentially almost 2 attacks, because you get a block 1 and minus 15k never, which could potentially kill something. And the main thing is it supports the opportunity to go mono red. Then next we have more strong red cards in Tupperware of Universe 11. So most of the time when you see a 20k, it's on a 4 cost, or you don't see many free cost at 20k. And I would compare this in power level to, in blue, the Android 18 Never Ending Energy, because that is a free cost 20k that when you play it you draw 2 cards. And Tupper is a very strong one for red in the fact that it comes down for the same power and cost, but has barrier and deflect, so it's 2 attacks, and it also allows you to minus 2k, minus 15k to your opponent's battle cards for the turn. So it can give some board removal and pressure as well, which is very strong. And it can potentially turn a tide in a game as well. And it's only 2 specified red, which is easy enough to do in monocolor, dual color, or tricolor. And then we have exchange of power. So in set 10, we had blue had a card called Absolute Confidence, which is like this, in the fact that it had unison interaction, because it was the same thing, 2 costs for 2 specified color, activate main battle, and either you choose 1 or 2 effects. You either bounce back to their hand when your opponent's free cost and less battle cards, or you choose your opponent's unison and remove a marker from it. Now in this set we got a red and a green one, but red is probably weaker at the 3 because of the fact that its unison interaction doesn't actively remove a marker like the other 2 do, but it does try to do it. So the 2 effects you have is you can either choose your opponent's battle card and it gets minus 15k power for the turn, then you draw 1, so it replaces itself, and minus 50k. Basically what red does is main identity. And then we have the other one being choose one of your opponent's unison cards and it gets minus 15k power for the turn. Now this is very good, but if your opponent's unison has more than 15k power, or it has an effect, or it has been boosted up to be higher than 15k, it's not going to actively remove a marker like the other 2, which just instantly move a marker. So why it's a little bit weaker than the other 2, it's still a real strong card for the cube. And what I'm trying to make sure is if every color has like a kind of copy of the same card, like Spark and Negates, or the Evolution Booster Negates, trying to make sure that all of them added across all colors and make it more balanced between the 4 colors. Then we have Surprise.Go. So another card like the first Goku we just saw, where it supports mono red in being like a mono arrival card. Because for 1 blue, if you have 2 more mono red battle cards in your combo area, you play it from your hand and then minus 1 your opponent's battle cards for 10k for the turn. Once again, it supports the Universe 7 in red, and also gives you that support from mono red being a mono arrival. Then the last one we have is Tien Shinhan Desperate Multiform. So like I've said previously as well, with cantrips in the cube, they've been, like as the sets go on and on, we're getting stronger cantrips that don't just draw a card when they're played, they also do other things as well. And Tien fits that bill in the fact that not only does it draw a card when it's played, it also has an error effect that makes it very strong, which is for 2 energy if it's your opponent's turn. If you combat from your battle area, you play 4 multi-form tokens. So you get 4 tokens that are 10k power for attacking, or they're all 5k 0 cost combos. So you can get for 2 energy, 20k combo cost defensively as well, or 4 10k swings if you're able to do like boost them by 5k, or just combo up 5k. You can put some pressure in with that. It's a very strong cantrip and a nice addition to the cube. But that is it for the red cards, and onto the blue cards. We only got 2. First one being Son Goku Calamity Challenger. Now this is a card that is very strong, and it helps support blue, like the mono blue, and also just playing blue with a blue Saiyan leader, because we have 3 blue Saiyan leaders in the cube, and it also helps support a bit more the chain to go up to Son Goku sign from the SR from set 3, the one that when it's played, you bounce all your opponent's battle cards back to the hand, and when it attacks, is a triple striker that makes it so your opponent can't combo on its swing. This helps give give access to that card for a finisher in the cube. So you're never going to use its second activate main, because the leader it needs to have isn't in the cube, but it's a 4 cost 15k with deflect and blocker, and its activate main is for 1 blue if your leader card is a blue Saiyan card, and you have 3 more energy. Play it from your hand, draw 1 card. So it's very good. It replaces itself, gets you a 15k swing, and then gives access to the chain by if you also draft the Goku from the anniversary box, where it bounces for 1 blue, it bounces back a 4 cost blue card to play itself, and is a 5 cost 20k. That is a target for sign. You can go up for 4 energy in a whole turn. You can get 3 swings. This 15k, it replaces itself. The other Goku that puts this back in your hand to play this again if you want to. And also the sign Goku for a finisher if needed be as well. So a very strong card, very strong additions for that chain. Then the last card we got is Great Ape Bardock Allied Assault from the TP. Now this is a great support for both the Bardock's crew archetype in the cube and the Great Ape archetype in the cube as well. Now this is straight up going to replace the 5 cost blue Bardock Ape from Draft Box 6, because 1, it's cheaper, and 2, this is easier played than the rest of it. It's easier to play, it's easier to hardcast, and it's easier to play off of some of the other cards like March to Great Apes. So it's a 3 cost 19k with blocker. Can also EX evolve on top of blue Bardock other than copies of this card, but you can't ever evolve on other copies of the card anyway because there's only 1 in the cube, and there are at least 2 targets to do that. But you still can easily play it for just hardcasted for free. So 2 very good autos. The first one, where if your leader card is a blue Saiyan card, which we have 3 in the cube, when it's played from your hand, you play it to 1 blue battle card with Great Ape, Bart's Crew, and an energy cost of 4 or less with a character name that you don't have in play from your deck with skills to get for the turn, then shuffle your deck. Now there's all the other members of Bardock's crew are in the cube with a blue Great Ape with Bardock's Crew, so this gives support for that if you want to draft that. And the second auto, where if you have a non-Bardock's blue Great Ape card in play, which you get from the first auto, and then in your turn you choose the one you mono blue energy and that's switched to active mode. So it's a very good card, so it gets you 2 battle cards on board for free energy, which you can swing even though the other one's got skills to get for the turn, but then it's that skill is back once your turn ends, and you get your energy back, so it's essentially a pseudo 2 cost. And as I said, since blue was heavily themed on the main sets, we only got 2 blue cards. But on with green, we got first one being Krillin, A Brief Return. Now this is a very good card, and I was so happy when I saw this in the cube because it helps support the Krillin archetype in the cube. So when I mean like Krillin, it's the kill Krillin kind of thing from Clash of Fates, where there's 4 cost Krillins that when they die, they allow you to trigger, as long as your leader is green, the green Son Goku 5 cost from Clash of Fates, which can play itself to give you a big surprise battle card swing that pops something through barrier, and also can provide pressure. And also, as we've got on, there's been more cards to support it, and it's a very nice archetype if you play green in the cube. So like all the other Krillins, it's a 4 cost with 1 specified green, so it's easy to play. And it's a 20k blocker as well, with 2 very good autos. First one being at the end of your turns, which is active mode, so you can apply pressure with it, and then have it restand at the end of your turn to block in your opponent's turn. And it's ever auto, which makes sure that if your opponent gets rid of it before you block, you still get a benefit. Whereas when it's removed from your battle area by your opponent's skill or KO'd, you choose one of your opponent's using cards and remove a marker from it. Some more Unison interaction, which is good and nice to add that archetype. Then we got Son Goku Imagine Exterminator. So this is just a super combo. It's replacing the Frenzied Warrior, because there wasn't many choices. I had to go for that one, and now this replaces that to give more, because it helps with being a Son Goku card and being a green, being a Saiyan as well. Super combo to help, and being a 15k swing as well. So that's replacing the Frenzied Warrior super combo in the cube. And then we've got SS Vegeta Imagine Exterminator. So as we saw from the last set, Yellow got a copy of this card, where basically if your leader card is the same color as the card itself, which for this one is green and the other one was yellow, when it's discarded from your hand by opponent's skill, you play this card from your drop area, and then it's a cantrip, and when this card is played, you draw 1 card. So it's it's just a cantrip, but like with Tien, is a cantrip with an extra effect, where if your opponent has hand destruction, which there are some things that are hand destruction in the cube, if your opponent tries to force you to drop something from your hand, you then play itself, so you don't lose anything, and then you'd replace it by drawing a card, so you plus when your opponent tries to make you discard. And so there's one, so we've got this one in green, which hopefully in more sets we get one for every colour, so it gives a bit, because these are kind of good cards to help deal with hand destruction in meta, but also it's a nice cantrip with a beneficial effect in the cube, because one of the best cards in the cube is the Agent of Destruction Android 16, Android Agent of Destruction Android 13, as many of my cube drafters will agree with. And then the last green card we got is the green version of the red extra card we saw, which being Diabolic Blow, which is one of those cards that we've got so far for just blue, green, and red, which have Unison interaction. Because this one is an activate main battle, same thing, 2 specified cost on its for its color, and 2 cost. Activate main battle, choose 1 or 2 effects. You can either choose one of your opponent's battle cards, which costs 3 or less, KO it, and draw a card, or you can choose one of your opponent's using cards and remove a marker from it. So see, very very strong, better than the red one, and potentially better than the blue one as well, because it KOs the card rather than bats it back and draws a card. Then for yellow, we got quite a few in yellow, and first one we got is a new Unison to use. So this one is Android 20 and Dr. Mew Hellish Accomplices. So it's got quite a few skills, but the only skills you're going to be using are potentially the first auto and the +1, because there's not many spirit boosts that I included from the set into the cube, because it's not really made for cube spirit boost. And the second, the -2 marker skill is mainly used with its archetype. So with the skills that you might use, first one is the auto once per turn. If it's your turn, when you activate an Evolve or Union skill, add a marker to discard. Now this, you can run Evolve and Union. I think there's a few cards that have Evolve and Union, and being Android and being more androids in yellow, you can potentially use that skill, because you can go with yellow green androids. And a +1 is benefit, like with a lot of like I like to have in Unisons, is the deck fitting, like so getting through your deck to see more of your cards, because you only it's a Highlander cube, so there's only one of every card, and being able to go through your deck quite quicker to see your cards, to see things you want, is very strong in this game. And this being a 15k swing and plus a +1, which is draw 1 card, then choose 1 card in your hand, discard it. This is nice to set up cards in your drops. If you play this and you draw a card and you discard something like Great Apes and Instincts, you can then use that effect from the drop of stuff. And there are some cards you can bring back out from the drop, which are pretty good. And this just actively replaces the SS Vegeta Dynamic Unison, because that was specified more to yellow, where this is quite generic with any, even if you have yellow, you can use it without having to go mono yellow. Then we have Vegeta the Brawler. It's basically just never going to use the first auto because the leader card it needs isn't in the cube. But just the never 1 cost battle card negate where you just for 1 energy negate the attack and play this card, so you can negate an attack and another combo power for another one. And then, as I said, with the yellow skillless, we have Great Saiyaman 2, another yellow skills battle card, and this would replace the Yajirobe. One, because you can get this in 4, which you can't really get in Yajirobe, which I'm trying to fall out my cube, and also it provides more special traits, being an Earthling and Heroine, which Yajirobe was just a Earthling. Then we have Android 17 Mechanical Charity. So just like with the Goku Super Combo, this one replaces the Jacko one, because where we're getting more and more yellow androids, this adds to the yellow android stuff archetype. So this adds to the android archetype in yellow to have like a searcher, because you have things like searchers and be able to have more mono yellow android cards to help, and adds to that. And then we have a searcher for mono yellow androids. Now we're getting more and more of them, because in the past 2 sets, yellow has been supporting androids. We've got Hellfighter 17 Mechanical Charity. So also when this card is played, look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 mono yellow android card with energy cost of 5 or less, or 1 mono yellow unison card with specific card 2 among them to your hand and shuffle them. So it's either a search for mono yellow androids or your 2 cost specified yellow unisons, which I think there is 3 in the cube. There's 3 2 cost, 2 specific cost, and 3 2 specific cost, and 2 1 specific cost ones. So as that, more little searches. And then we have the last of the yellow cards for added to the queue, which is Bardock the Eliminator. So this is once again more support for Great Apes and Bardock's crew, mainly for Great Apes. And just like the Goku Sending Instincts, it's like a mini helpful draw if it's using the drop. So it's a 4 cost 19k with unique and blocker. Unique isn't a factor really, because there's only one, as I said, copy of every card in the cube. It's an auto, limit 1 for 1 energy. If your leader card is yellow or a Bardock's crew, which there's at least 6 yellow cards in the cube, and you choose one of your opponent's skillless battle cards with energy cost of 4 or less in rest mode, which in the cube there's quite a few skillless, so it's easier to trigger in the cube than it is in the meta. At the end of a battle, when this card was used in the combo from your hand, your opponent may KO the chosen card if they don't play this card from the drop area in rest mode. So this gives you good options. If you combo with this, you can then trigger the effect, and they either lose their big beefy skillless card, and if they don't, you'll get this card played in rest mode to either attack with next turn or block with in the turn after that turn. And then if it goes to your drop, or is discarded by many of your effects, it's got an activate main for 1 energy, send this card from your drop area to your warp, then draw 1 card. So it gives more draw power as needed as well, so a very strong card. And as I said, that is the last for yellow, and there's no black cards because they're already specifically archetype based heavily. So we have 3 multicolored cards that be added to it. First one is Zamasu the Eliminator. So this is one of the very strong cards from the Champ Pack 2021 that we got on the second part of them, and this helps with multicolor because there's a 2 cost 5k, so 1 blue and 1 yellow. It's got Indestructible. It's a nice counterplay where you play this card, and if the card being played has energy cost of 2 or less, which is in his hand instead, so you can get quite a lot of value out of it, but you get 1 use of it, and it does hit unisons as well. And it's also got a nice permanent to go with, like Beerus the Fickle being a check land, a ready check land for multicolor if needed be, where if you have a never blue yellow multicolor card in your energy, you get the energy, it's called skill in all areas, but you're not going to use that often. You're mainly going to use it for its counterplay. And when you do play it, it's got an auto of when this card is played, you draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode. Now this does provide, this card is a very strong one for the cube, help more support for blue yellow, and also has a very good interaction, like in the main meta in the cube with the Unison of Fury, Vegeta Unison, where you can just rest this to gain a marker for free because it's indestructible. And the next one we have is Beerus Unceasing Rage. So this is a new arrival card for red yellow, and finally we got one that is just one red for red yellow, and this is going to replace the SR Beerus one because that required 2 energy and had one effect, one use once it was dropped, where this one has a use when it's dropped and a use for after. So it's a 4 cost 20k, arrival red yellow for 1 red, and its auto is when this card is played, draw 1 card, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and they get minus 10k power for the turn. So it provides some helpful removal, replaces itself by drawing a card, gives you 20k beat stick, and potentially help control your opponent's board. And as well as that, it also has an activate main to help be like a little finisher, where for 1 red, 1 yellow, and 1 of any colour, you choose all your opponent's battle cards in rest mode to get minus 20k power for the turn, and this card gets 5k power and triple strike for the turn. So you get a really nice board wipe, potentially, and also a nice finisher if need be. So it's a very good addition to the cube, and I'm happy it's been printed, both for Red Beerus in the meta and also for the cube. And then finally, the last card we're going to add to the cube from the new stuff is an Android 16 limited disengaged. So currently this is going to replace the 6-drop one from the evolution booster, because that one requires is a 20k dual attacker, but requires blue and green, whereas this gives a lot more flexibility, which I like to have in the cube, being you can arrival it for either by playing 1 blue or 1 green. Now it's got quite a few keyword seals as a blocker. With the arrival blue-green, wherever you can either use a blue or a green, and it's got revive blue-green as well, which you can only use once across all copies of the card, but then it doesn't matter because there's only one, and revive is only once per turn on any card. So this is nice to have a block and come back as well. And it's also, if you play blue and if you draft blue and green, it's got a nice permanent of if you have a blue and green card in your energy area, the combo cost is reduced by 1 in your hand, so it becomes a 0 cost 5k if you're drafting blue and green, and you got at least one of each or multicolor in your energy. It also, just like with the Krillin, it restands itself at the end turn, so you can play it and then attack with it, because there's auto which is switch this card to active mode at the end of your turn. I mean, you can swing with it and then have it restood at the end of your turn to block. And then it's got a helpful activate battle to trigger its revive, and also control Unisons, which is a limit one, where if it's your opponent's turn and you KO this card and choose one of your opponent's Unison cards, remove a marker from the chosen card. So that's really nice, so you can block something, then trigger this effect, the KO itself, so it ends the battle there, and remove a marker from Unison, and able to trigger revival. And being a green card, it also allows you to draw if you draft it with Fierce's Healing Pod, which is a very strong card in the cube as well. So that is it for the cube. And that is all the additions that have been going into my cube, and ones I feel that could be the strongest addition to the cube. Now on my cube list, there is a section of extra options which I've listed, which have other cards I've found that might be added, but it's all depending down to the person who's building the cube's preference. But these ones are the ones I'm definitely adding for my cube. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully this information is helpful for anybody who's interested in cube drafting in Dragon Ball, because I know cube draft is a format that's played in quite a few games. Like I loved it in Yu-Gi-Oh! And in Final Fantasy, and I'm enjoying it and playing Dragon Ball Super as well. But if you're interested, if you enjoy this series and these videos, feel free to drop a like on the video, comment if there's any questions you have, or any comments or anything you want to see. And lastly, if you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe, as it keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. Now once again, thank you for watching. It's been quite a long video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.